There are times when trout love to eat dark-bodied Callibaetis nymphs. The skipback is the perfect choice for these situations. Join me at my vise as I show you how I tie it. The skipback is a blend of two patterns, the halfback and Skip Morris's Skip Nymph. Both excellent patterns in their own right. Here are the materials you will need to tie up your own selection of this productive hybrid. So let's tie the skipback. A blend of the late Gourd Honey's two favorite flies for Callibaetis, Venerable Halfback and the Skip Nymph. So into the jaws of the vise, we've placed a Daiichi 1760 size 14. You could tie these. 12 would be a big one. Up in British Columbia would certainly work early season. 14's most common, 16s and even potentially 18s. But 14's a good all-around average Callibaetis nymph size. I'm going to attach our tying thread, some olive or black. You can even use hot orange, I suppose, a little hot spot. Either 70 denier or the MFC 80 thread. It's just a color to complement the Peacock and Pheasant combination body we've got going on here. So we're just going to cover the shank with tying thread. And then I'm going to take my tying thread back up to about the 3/4 mark. And then we're going to tie in our rib material, which is UTC extra small copper. You could certainly use silver or gold. Going to lay that along the side of the shank, catch the tip of that wire with the thread and secure it down the shank. Okay, so for the body we're using Peacock Herl. I've got 3 strands and I've tied them in by the tips, but I've trimmed the very extreme part of the tips off because they're brittle, but you'll get a better tapered body and much fuller fibers with the Peacock Herl. So we've got that tied in. We'll let our thread hang, and we're going to carefully take one wrap of Peacock Herl and put it behind the wire ribbing, and then we're just going to wind that forward behind the thread. And what this does is, if you break your Peacock, you can quickly tie it off before it realizes it's free and unravels. And it also tends to keep the herls bunched together as the thread kind of pushes the wraps back. And maybe one more time. Up. Tie this off. Trim off the excess. Sometimes you've got enough you can do the whole body when you see how this fly all comes together. Now for the tail and the shellback and even the wingcase, if we're long enough, we're just going to use some natural pheasant tail. So I'm going to actually try and isolate a slip of fibers midway up here. Just simply I'm looking for the length, because I'm going to try and do our tail, wingcase and shellback all out of one slip. And sometimes you have to do a 2-stage back and tail and then wingcase separately, but this looks like it'll work. And when I stood those fibers up on end, you see how the tips have nicely aligned. Pheasant tail ready to go. We're going to lean it on top, or lay it on top, and I'm guesstimating I want a tail that's about half the shank length sticking out the back. This is going to be my back, and forward of my thumb and forefinger is going to end up to be my wingcase as well. So we're just going to tie that in place, and then we're going to take a half a turn of our copper wire to position it. Grab the fibers here. They're going to form both the tail and the shellback, just like how Skip Morris ties his Skip Nymph, which is another excellent Callibaetis nymph. And just simply wind the wire forward to bind down that pheasant tail, like so, creating a nice, neat segmented look as well. I'm going to come up, tie this off, hold it back, secure it, wiggle, helicopter and break away the excess. And then we're going to take our remaining pheasant tail. I'm just going to fold it back over itself and secure it back onto the body a little bit. That'll help. By doing so, by overextending your body and winding back onto it, you don't have to worry about ending your body exactly where the thorax will begin and sometimes run into a little ditch that forms there between the two areas. That's just the thorax is, the body is just going right into the thorax area nice and neat, just like the naturals. Okay, now we're going to tie in, we're going to need some legs on this. So we can go in and we're going to isolate another clump of probably 6 to 8 pheasant tail fibers. Mayflies have 6 legs. So again, I'm just going to come up, stand up a clump perpendicular to the stem. That's going to even the tips. You can sort of see them out here all evened up. And rather than strip them away, which I run the risk of misaligning them, I'm going to trim them, reposition, bring my tying thread right up front here, and I'm going to push these legs out in front, maybe half the shank length or so, out in front, bind them back, tie them off. And then we're going to take another couple of strands of 2 to 3 strands of ostrich herl, peacock herl. Ostrich herl is a great material, but not being used here. And again, there's the tip section. Trim them off just because they're so brittle. Trim them off. Trim the tips off. Lay them on the sides. Secure them in place. 2 to 3 is fine because you've been building up bulk right in here, which is going to help give that slightly enlarged thorax. It's just a little bit more robust than the abdomen. And just wind that forward. Mayfly nymphs, Callibaetis nymphs are pretty delicate. And we're going to come in, tie that off, a couple over the top. Don't crowd the head. Trim them away. And then I'm going to rotate my vise slightly here just so I can see a little better and show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to take these fibers now, and you see me tie some of my other mayfly nymphs I've got on the site here, the Herl May and the Stillwater Callibaetis. I like to do this technique where I just literally play with them a little bit and divide them into a Y. And then I'm going to make sure my tying thread is right up at the hook eye. I'm going to reach back, grab that far side clump, hold it along the sides, and just a couple of wraps of thread, walk it back and sweep them back. And then I'm going to come in, advance the thread forwards again, right up to the hook eye, take my near side clump of legs and walk them back. And I don't quite like how they formed. So we're in control here, at least we're supposed to be. And we've walked them back as well. And they're a little more divided this time. And then I just simply pull that wing case material over the top. Bind down. A little bit underneath. Lock that in place. And then we're just going to come in, trim. We got that tied in. Now we're going to take our wing case material. Sorry, our wing case, our whip finisher. Wrong W word. And just build up a neat head. Whip finish. And then we'll just preen our legs out a bit so they stand out, because when the mayfly moves through the water, rapid undulations of its abdomen, and it rests with its legs extended, arch, thorax bent out. And what we can do too, if we're staying true to the skip back portion, is to sort of take and trim out the, I've V'd out, and see that center section there? We are going to trim them out, and that will sort of give us an exaggerated V tail that suggests that splayed out tail of a natural Callibaetis nymph. So there's a couple of fibers to trim at the front, and then just to add a little bit of reinforcement, I'm going to take a little bit of the Solara's Bone Dry, just touch it there, and even just add a little bit of durability, a little bit of shine to our wing case and head area. In just a few seconds, that'll cure right up. So there you have it, the completed skip nymph. A blend between the very popular Pacific Northwest pattern, the halfback, and Skip Morris's skip nymph, which is an excellent Callibaetis pattern in its own right. Sometimes they want the dark nymphs, even though there's light ones around. This stands out in the crowd. The skip nymph. Make sure you have some in your Callibaetis section of your fly box. For more information on fly fishing, and stillwater fly fishing in particular, please visit my website at flycraftangling.com. Here you will find fishing tips, fly patterns, articles, information regarding my seminars and schools, along with links to my blog and mine and Brian Chan's online stillwater fly fishing store. You can also visit our store directly at stillwaterflyfishingstore.com. While you're visiting my site, please join my mailing list to receive my educational newsletters. You can also follow me through my social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and give this video a like. Please take the time to watch my other videos as well. Thanks for watching.